I spent around 15 years into the corporate. The last I was heading HR and talent acquisition for Landis& Gear, a Toshiba Group company. And before that, I spent 15 years in the various other services company and was at the receiving end of resourcing, and always had a problem of bench resource loss, revenue leakage because of delay in hiring. It's an irony that there is, as such, no mechanism has been developed so far which can calculate the ROI of the recruitment department, but it's a critical department. And keeping in mind that we launched this company called as the OnBenchMark.com, which is a next generation hiring solution provider. I think the biggest challenge into resourcing or hiring, apart from not getting the right resource on time, or candidates having multiple offers in hand and not joining on time, there is a bigger concern which I take it as the scarcity and imbalance of resource distribution across the globe. And if we give an example of India, there were recently, I think in 2018, there was 62 jobs for a peon or a helper jobs for there, where the fifth standard qualification was required, and there were around 93,000 people applied for that job. And out of that, there are around 3,700 PhD holders were there, and there were around 50,000 postgraduates were there, and there were around 22,000 something graduates will be there. So you can imagine why those kind of people need to apply for that kind of job. So it can be just a news for many people, but it raises a lot of concerns about why they have applied for these kind of job. And that actually proves that, because there is and on the other hand, if you talk about the industry, everybody is cursing about the availability of the resources, and we don't see the right resources. So the skillful resources requirement is also a big concern. And as per one of the study, so there were around 94% engineering graduates are not skillful enough to get a job. So that's a big number. And if we will talk about those kind of numbers and they are not eligible for that kind of jobs in the market, I think there is a huge gap in the market. So that needs to be that's I think it's a very big concern. And another concern which I believe is industry and educational institution disconnect. Industry has different expectation, and the education institute, the teachers and the kind of curriculum they have, they teach it in a different way. So there is a huge disconnect between them. So the study of 94% who are not employable is because they are not upgrading their curriculum, and that's one of the reasons they are not even eligible for the right job. And because of this, what is happening in the industry is there is a huge disconnect in the demand and supply of the resources. And because if you take an example of any engineering graduate or an MCA graduate, not a single student can be productive from day one. They need certain kind of training for 3 months, 6 months, or maybe a year also. So what happens, why they are not able to be productive even after spending 4 years into a course or 3 years into a course? And why this 3 months certificate course matters a lot, and they are able to do the job. So what will happen if they will be able to provide the educational institute provide such kind of curriculum where they will be productive from day one? So that will, I think, make a huge difference across the I think industry. I think one of the solution for this disconnect between the educational institutes and the industry can be filled by changing a little bit into the curriculum, and the curriculum should be more based like on a practical oriented curriculum, and right from the first year a 50% 50-50 theoretical and practical education will be given. So I think that will really make a difference, and over the years like second year, third year, or maybe in the final year, if that comes to reaches to 80% practical, I think that way we will be able to produce better graduates and better I think skillful people who can like work from day one and can be more productive, and they can contribute towards the growth of the economy also. So rather than like having those different institutes or creating separate kind of like a skill initiative, so it's better like if we need to have a certain change in the way we have designed our curriculum. If we talk about the current trends and the future trends, so the challenges which we are facing today, industry also find out the solution in its own way, and there are like if we talk about the rise of gig workers and artificial intelligence, these are like the which is actually helping in like the resourcing. And if I talk about the future trends, so number one, I'll take it as like the rise of artificial intelligence and robots, like where it has been predicted like a lot of jobs will be lost, and like especially the repetitive jobs will be lost, and of course is going to be, but a lot of jobs, new jobs is going to be created. So there is a huge opportunity to develop those kind of systems and those kind of like the solutions which through artificial intelligence, machine learning, which can help to develop provide a better solution in the current market scenario. And the next I take it as the rise of gig economy. So gig economy, if you will see like the common examples like the Uber and Zomato in India, you will see a lot of workers like gig workers are working over there. And apart from that, like if you say the rise of like a lot of freelancers across the globe, and it has been predicted like nearly around 1 billion people will be working as freelancers in next 10 years. So there is one out of like if you'll calculate 1 out of 8% like will be working as a freelancers in next 10 years. So there is a huge opportunity like for those companies who are working on having solutions for the freelancers. So this is also one of the like future trends which is developing. Another trend is which is developing is rise of like digital nomads. It's a growing community of across the globe, and digital nomads are the people like who are independent of any location. They are working from anywhere, like they are they might be working from hills, or they might be working from beaches, or from their home, or like maybe traveling, or maybe in mobile or camper vans also. So that's how like they are, it's a growing community across the globe. And especially if you talk about the millennials, they defy 9 to 5 jobs, and they are opting for this kind of the lifestyle. And so there are a lot of potential required in this, and that can of course helping in the providing solution for resourcing aspect also. The next is the rise of sharing economy. If we take an example of Airbnb, like so they are like the biggest example of sharing of resources or like idle resources. So similarly, like the way OnBenchMark has also developed this solution where like you can share your human resource or human capital also, or the unutilized resources. And this is going to be like the part lot of like resourcing in future, because many organizations who are already having the resources, and if they either they have to lay off the employees, or like they will bear the loss, bench resource loss, so they can like deploy those resources to different organizations. So that's how like it will help to reduce their like losses and increase their profitability. So this is another trend which is going to like rise in the future. The next trend is the decline of full-time employment. The conventional and the traditional full-time employment, which people are like thinking to be the part of, like they will spend rest of the life in the one job, is declining. More and more people are joining the contractual workforce, or in as a freelancers, or like independent workers. So that is also like happening, and this is going to affect the organization, and this is actually helping the organization also, because they don't need to hire full-time employees, and they have a better because they have the like option of hiring resources on temporary basis, maybe on contract, or maybe on like part-time basis, work from home. And this COVID-19 crisis is also further validated this and acceptably, and of course increases the acceptability across the organization and across the business leaders also. So that's how like it is like getting into a part of like normal organizations. They are also trying to reduce their full-time workforce. So this is another trend which is developing. Next concept which is evolving is also, it's called as holiday employment. This is a new concept which is evolving, and wherein people who are like traveling somewhere on holidays, they get an opportunity to work on those locations, because the availability of tools, or like the website where like they can get the employment on those local locations. Like if suppose you are traveling to maybe to Australia, or maybe New Zealand, or some other countries, so there like you can connect with those people there. You can work on some kind of a small time project, and then you can, along with your like travel plans, you can work also, and you can earn also. So that concept is also coming up, and I think it's going to rise as the younger generation wants to have, like they prefer to have that kind of a lifestyle. So that is I think one of very important and interesting, I believe, the trend which is going to come up in future. And the next trend, which is I think all of us has observed, is I think the need of online reputation. That is also becoming a need, not only for the organizations, but for even for the individuals or the workers also. This is going to rise in future. Like so, it's like the way you have an kind of a reputation. You see the reviews, or like for any product, people will going to see the like the reviews and like the online reputation of our individuals or organizations also. And this is, though this is there already there, if you talk about the glass doors and all, like for the organization you see, right? And similarly for like even for the freelancers in some of the like organizations you see. So apart from just your the LinkedIn, Facebook or Insta profile, there will be like a lot of other I think tools will be developed which will help you to create your online reputation, and people need to work on it also. That's how they will be able to get a better work also, and they have to create their own brand also, and that's how like they this online reputation is going to evolve in the coming years. And the next, and but not the least, and the last but not the least, is the rise of de-urbanization. And I think the trends which we have talked about is going to lead to de-urbanization. if we talk about like the urbanization, which has started like rapidly during the time of industrial revolution, where in 19th century people have like relocated to metros and bigger cities. But I think this digital revolution is going to create another trend, which we may term it as de-urbanization, because people will prefer to work from their own location. They might be traveling, as we talk about like digital nomads and freelancers or like gig economy. So it's not necessarily required people to relocate to the metros for all the job, except like where physical presence is required. So I think that will also like help our economies also, because urbanization has led to a lot of like pollution and of course like disturbance and in different sense. But I think de-urbanization will help to reduce the cost of resources also, and I think it will be a trend to be observed and I think watch out for. The next trend is the change in the business scenario because of COVID-19. So the world is never be the same again. So it has created a lot of acceptability and created a lot of disturbance across the globe and across the sectors. But this COVID has brought up some positive aspects also, wherein the digitization and the online capabilities of the organizations, they have analyzed that, and they are like the more and more opportunities they are able to create. So COVID has not only like made changes, negative changes, but I think it has acted as a catalyst also to make further boost in especially the digitization of economies, and I think that is going to like really make a difference in the coming years. And one of the important things, like I think the future of work for a workplace is going to be changed. Like the conventional way of working from typical office and from 9 to 5 is going to be changed. Like you might see in the coming years, where like the green offices or like the remote offices, maybe in hills, beaches, or maybe camper vans or mobile offices, like you may see. So these kind of workspace are going to come, and it's like it's already there in a few places. But this is the future trend, because the traditional way of like working is going to slow down. I'll not say it becomes completely obsolete, but that's going to make a difference, and there is like a lot of changes may happen, the way, the kind of offices we work and the way we work. And I think and that will really help the working mothers, like maybe the travelers, or like maybe the people who are like living in remote location, or like they prefer to work from different places. So I think that will really boost their productivity also, because they are able to work from those places where they enjoy, and they are not just like working like a robot, but they are really enjoying the places and the kind of environment they prefer. So I think the future of workplace is also going to be changed in coming years. So I think like we have discussed about a lot of things, future trends, and the OnBenchMark initiative has also been like in line with keeping in mind the future trends across the globe. So I'll just brief you like what actually we does on Benchmark. Here we have created a virtual enterprise network of companies, wherein companies can share their bench resources or unutilized resources, and companies can also hire freelancers. And freelancers, like typically the traditional freelance, not like a traditional freelancing tool, wherein like there are a lot of restrictions where they cannot connect with the employer or the clients. Here we are providing a freedom and autonomy to the freelancers, where like they can directly, we call it as call to connect freelancers or a business. So that's how like we are creating an environment where like for any kind of just-in-time hiring need, businesses can like work and hire professional, and not only from like one location but across the globe, like they can hire. And that's how like I think the problem of scarcity or imbalance of like resource distribution that can also be catered. And so it's just a small initiative, and we are also trying to create a ecosystem for digital nomads, where like they can work and they can travel also. So that's all like a lot of things we are doing at OnBenchMark, and we want to create a platform where like the next generation resourcing can be done and people get the solution out of it.